Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner, and I am the co-host and co-producer of the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, and being part of that team last year was able to reach out directly or indirectly to over 100,000 fathers around the world. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And welcome to the Morning Vibe, August 22nd. What's going on, Ryan? You're on mute, Ryan.
Mute. I am on mute. Good day, Dr. Vibe. Thanks to everyone for joining. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. We work with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage they're in and help them create a blueprint to grow their companies exponentially. And a quick shout out to the team. Our 5-year anniversary is coming up, so save the date, November 26th. Please come and celebrate with us. I'll talk more about that later. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I run a company called Detailing Nights. So we provide mobile waterless car cleaning. So we come to your house or your office, clean your car on the spot without using water, and our plant-based cleaning supplies. And hey, I wanted to shout out to our young entrepreneurs. They're going through our, I guess you could call it, youth entrepreneurship boot camp. In the summer, they get to run mini versions of our company. So shout out to them. And you'll see I'm still rocking my PACU shirt. It stands for the Pan-African Credit Union. So if you want to see a Black-led and Black supporting financial institution come into being, please go to pacu.ca and pledge so that the community can show its support and actually have part ownership of this credit union. So, yes, sir.
All right.
How's the weekend been? Oh, yes, go ahead.
Before I go any further, want to say good morning. And this episode of The Morning Vibe is sponsored by the Macmillan Group. And they've been providing mortgage solutions one client at a time since 1999, buying, refinancing, or investing. Call in Canada 905-813-4354, US 904-586-5636. We never take it for granted that we get the support from the Macmillan Group, and we hope they are doing fine also on this wet Monday morning, at least in my area of town.
Yeah, it's not even my area, but Brampton's super wet. I'm seeing reports that it's flooded out there.
Yeah, some
people
pretty
in kayaks
heavy rain
in the streets.
It's
getting crazy.
Kayaks, don't even go there.
I'm watching the guy on CP24.
Kayak.
What's he called?
In the street.
Going down the street.
In the street.
Right down the street.
Wow. Well, want to shout out to Marlon Stephen. Yes. Good morning, Marlon. Hope you and the family are fine and safe. Mm-hmm. So how was the weekend?
The weekend was nice. Oh my gosh, you always have to kind of rack my brain.
How was the drive?
It wasn't as long as we thought it was going to be. So it wasn't going north. It was actually going south to Selkirk, and right at the bottom of the lake. And I wanted to shout out to Melissa and Andrea and her husband Robert. So Andrew and Robert purchased this cottage and totally renovated it. It was like tear down bushes in the yard, and it come out beautiful. So that's where they held their father Lester's Uncle Lester's uh, 80th birthday party. So yeah, it was a really good celebration. Shout out to there's a food truck there, the Jerk Brothers. They have about 4 locations, and we got to talk with them a little bit about how their business has been going. But it was really good. So yeah, the drive was nice.
Nice. Good. I was saying, I wonder if Ryan's stuck in a traffic jam somewhere and doing
Listen,
this. And
multiple gems. It's like
wow.
and then the GPS will tell you kind of to come off and try to get back on. It just gets eventually you're just like, let me just meditate
Just
and
stay on the
stay
road.
the course. Like this
Stay
is
the
my
course.
Zen
Cool.
time.
Good.
But yeah,
And the kids enjoyed it.
they did definitely get into Christian, get into sprint around the big open space. You know, he got to let loose and jazz. They're right by the water, Lake Erie, like you're saying. So get into put our feet in the water. We didn't go fully swimming, but yeah, it was nice.
Good. Good. Anything else happened? That was your Saturday. Did you actually break yesterday?
So half break, well, break as in going to work. So me and the team, we went down to work for the city of Toronto to clean some of their cars, and we came back, got to our yard work. So I felt inspired by hearing Robert's story of the grass above your head, and you have to grab your machete and just. Our backyard isn't as crazy. So I felt we could at least get some work done, but we had our family members come down, our brother-in-law, my father-in-law, come to help. So yeah, slowly
Nice.
but surely we're getting the house all, I guess, nightified.
Well,
We'll get there.
and it just you're reinforcing to what I always say, the greatest source of strength and wealth is the Black family.
Hey, 100%. Yeah. So
Right? Because
seeing the
if you had to
progress
do that, if you had to do all that work on your own,
is not happening. It's become a 2-year project. And you'll always just hear the nag in your ears, like, so when are we gonna do the backyard? Yeah, soon.
mm,
But yeah, you put
mm.
the team on it and it gets done.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's
Mm,
and today, folks, we're just going to be chopping up. If there's any subjects you'd like us to chat
mm,
about, throw them in the chat. Excuse me. Yeah. So yeah, and that's I'm getting some stuff done around my house, and
mm,
finally, I've been able to find some. I'll say it, reliable Black
yep.
contractors. So I've
Right.
been able to source out. Well, one gentleman is leading to all these other gentlemen to do different things, which is a beautiful thing because I don't
Right.
see a lot of Black contractors out there.
And so many people will have a story about, and I mean, in general, the whole industry of like home repair renovations, it's difficult to find somebody trustworthy. And so it turns out that Robert, the gentleman that was working on the cottage, he does contracting full time too. So he was telling me some stories where he's had to come in and lady people that have ailments, disabilities, taking advantage of women, taking advantage of, or elderly taking,
Yeah,
and you wonder who can live with themselves knowing that they're taking money that a person saved up to do a specific job in their house, and now that you rip them off, they are stuck still needing the job done.
yeah.
So it's a wild position to put people in, and hey, there are people out there with that mindset. I don't know how they can go through.
Well, the trust thing, trust,
Mm,
trauma. My three. So it gets back to that all
mm,
over again. It's unfortunately, and I'm going to put it out there. I
mm.
would like to know if there's any Black owned landscaping and snow removal company.
I have not heard of that.
So
The
I'm just
snow
giving it out there.
remover,
I think there is money to be made in that industry,
eh?
and I've never I see Black employees,
Yes,
but the owners are not melanated.
right.
Just I think I've shared this before. If maybe I'm repeating it, but there's a gentleman who lives
Mm,
5 houses down from me. He's been
mm.
there for 20 plus years. He started that business a long time ago. Now his sons are in the business.
What type of business?
They do lawn cutting. They cut
Okay.
trees. They do that. They do that in the summer, spring and summer, and in the winter they do snow plowing.
Okay, but non-melanated, you're saying, but you haven't seen a black-owned similar company. Okay, gotcha.
If there is one out there, please tell us. I'd love to get them on the show. I'd
Okay,
love to
yes.
get them on the show.
Well, and
But
that's where I thought ACA, the Afro-Canadian Contractors Association, was supposed to be.
well, okay. So here we go. So I was looking to get quotes a little while back on central air conditioning, and I called up. There were only one or two vendors on their website. Not going to say any names. So I just called up for a verbal quote.
Gotcha.
And they quoted me a amount and go, that sounds sort of high. So then I called a Chinese gentleman. He quoted $2,000 lower.
Right. That's significant.
So now, and maybe, and now when I did call the black-owned organization, I told them the square footage and all that. Say, well, just a rough quote. We need to come out and look at. But I'm going, okay, hold on. You know the square footage. You know what type of house it is. And this other gentleman said, yeah, he quoted $2,000 lower. And if I wanted, I could do it. The payment. He said I could pay half and do the rest in installments.
Whoa. Well, and then that begs the question, because we hear about that in the black community, the prices will be higher because we're not taking advantage of, let's say, group purchasing. So
I don't mind that in that case.
Right?
So
But
I'm not, but that's
that significant. Yeah,
$2,000.
that's huge.
Like I could live.
So what does that make? Why is it so much more?
2,000, and the company has been around for a long time too.
Right.
It's not something that's been around for the last 2 or 3 years. Like they've been around, I think, if I remember correctly, at least 15 to 20 years.
And so what some will say is like, did you get the same quality? Like when that person came and did the job, do you feel like you got the same?
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. It's interesting. There's a contractor I'm speaking with now, and he was telling me that he has challenges getting good productivity from black employees, like whether it's productivity or even things like showing up on time. And he says I could call a Chinese gentleman, he could do it, and they'll stay there from 10 in the morning till 10 at night to get something done. So these are some of the challenges we have to overcome. I'm not saying it's everywhere, but these are things we got to break through, because if we can't feel comfortable with our own, we're challenged. I was going to say another word, but we're challenged. Let's put it that way. It's a number of areas. So I'm just putting it out there. That's my alleged role. What did you, I know there are probably one or two things you want to chat about, because we haven't had this sort of conversation in a long time, because we've had so many great guests.
Right. Yes.
I'm still sort of shaking my head a little bit in a good way about last Friday.
Yes.
Oh wow, last Friday was massive.
Hey, for those that missed it, definitely check out that interview, because Dr. Adame, well, we had Ingrid from Walmart, Craig from Black Opportunity Fund, but Dr. Adame from Sick Kids, who's oh my gosh, a doctor of hematology. So digging into like how the blood works, and he broke it down and I could understand. It wasn't just like science jargon and telling the history of sickle cell and the link back to Africa. And
it was a great conversation. And what also made it better, our wonderful family, our audience who was watching live, were really engaged.
Yes.
And that's, again, I always thank all y'all, whether you're doing it live or on replay. It's always great because you make what we do easier and more enjoyable when you are driving the ship. And we just steer the ship, but it was really good. And one of the nice things about the conversation, we like to celebrate success here. Right after 2 minutes after we finished the conversation, the manager of Major Gifts at Sick Kids Hospital. So Major Gifts means this is the manager of all the big donations.
Right.
Emailed myself and Ryan saying, fantastic job, really enjoyed it, etc. So that was nice to see that Sick Kids gave a thumbs up.
Yes, yes.
And even better, she's a melanated lady.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, that was, and it made me think of kind of the highlight reel of interviews that we've done. And it was funny, we had Craig on with CIBC as well.
Yeah.
I thought with Austin that went well, and then Leslie, when we were talking about mental health,
Yep.
that was a really in-depth conversation that we typically don't have in the community, and she was able to break it down. Are there any that stand out for
That's
you?
actually, you know what? That gives me an idea. Maybe when actually we need we need to make do a highlight reel show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need, and that leads to a number of ideas, highlight reel show, but other things like that. And we've Dr. Adamo is, I just going, wow.
Right,
Wow.
right.
That was good. What else is on? I'm doing all the chatting here. What else is on your alleged mind?
I was watching some of the old footage, and I only think 2 people have been on the show more than once. So
Craig
Station,
is one.
Craig, and Marlon.
Marlon, okay.
I'm trying to think, and maybe Chris Beth. Has Chris Beth been on more than once?
Yes.
Early on,
I know that.
yeah.
And Craig, and Station. I don't.
Yeah.
Station been on, but I
and
think.
congrats to Station. She did have her baby. I'm blanking
I didn't
if
know
it was
she
a
was
girl or
expecting.
boy. Yes, man. She's been off. What's it? Oh my goodness. I think last month. I have to check and see.
Okay. Well, congratulations.
But yes, I just saw a picture of the baby. And people were saying congrats. So yeah.
Didn't know. See, when you want to know what's going on in the Black environment in Canada, look at the man beside me. He keeps
now you're gonna lead us into the conversation about coverage in the Black community. Right now, there still isn't a dedicated. I feel like we don't have our own Black CP24, where it's just a news team going around town, capturing conversation.
You're gonna go.
How do we get there? Like, what are you working on in the back to help us get to that level? Like, who can help us get there?
I feel I should be doing like what the Instagram people do. Well, okay, and it's interesting. I'm having more and more of these conversations with different individuals. Well, this is the thing, that we don't control our own narrative, and this is one of the reasons I started the Dr. Vibe show way back when all I had was a microphone, a laptop, and a dream. And I think that I think the biggest challenge, and I had this conversation yesterday with someone, is that just getting people together to agree on it. The resources are there, the talent is there. It just getting the people together to do it. And I think that, again, I'm shaking my head more. And again, sorry, I'm going to mention it, but Michelle Jean's conference, the title media sponsor was CBC. Well, nothing against CBC, and hey, that's our money, so that's good. But the thing is, it's not melanated.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with CBC being the title sponsor, but they were the only media coverage at the event, a 3-day full. As they said it themselves, it's the biggest Black national conference, and you have no other Black media outlets. And I'm pretty sure the foundation knows of them. So the fact that representatives like Buy Blacks weren't there, Alan from Caribbean TV,
yourself. Well, I think it's one thing that the one there, the bigger challenge is that I like this. Tim Frey, I'm going to steal that. That we weren't even asked.
That
like,
is
at least
even worse.
We didn't. And I think I can speak collectively, and I hope they don't get mad for all those media organizations. We weren't even asked.
Right.
And all I saw coverage wise on CBC was like maybe two or three articles. So Tim Frey goes Black Pulse 24 breaking news.
Black Pulse. Take it.
And Tim Frey.
No, man.
I love that.
We have to bring that into being.
So yeah. So I think And actually, that opens up for our family. If you're watching this live, what do you think about media coverage of
Black
Black
Pulse.
Canadians?
I love
Right?
that.
You know,
Well, and so you look at, yeah, I'll say I watch Brandon Goldness every so often, but does he really cover what's happening in the Black community, or is it too broad? Because now he probably has one of the biggest platforms. I mean, by Blacks is still, but then those are kind of two separate type of
the, I,
entities.
from where, and this is just my lens.
Mm.
They're targeting two different audiences, right?
Right.
And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but by Blacks,
Mm.
from where I sit, they're more focused on a Black. Like all their content, like at least 90% of their content is
Mm.
focused at the Black
Right.
consumer. Brandon Gomez, he is more. How can I put it? He's more traditionally what you would see on a little bit on TV. Now he does do coverage of Black stories, but I don't, and hey, he may get mad at me as is, he doesn't do it to the same depth as
Mhm.
a buyblacks.com. They have much more,
True.
very much deeper and wide. So I think it's two different audiences, two different
Mm.
audiences. I believe from where I sit as a consumer of media content, two different audiences. But what we really do need out there is a national network,
Right.
because I'll be honest, I don't hear. Well, here's good feedback here. So we
Mm.
got. I love our family. They're coming hashtag Black Pulse frequency event promotions. Good morning, uh, Latania. Does media coverage of Black Canadians exist? Brandon is focused on education. By Blacks is about Black entrepreneurship. No, I wouldn't. From what I see from Brandon, again,
Brand is more like
he's.
entertainment. Like
I
he'll
think
cover the artists, and like in the Black community, when he covers anything that's Black focused, it's typically entertainment. He covered like where is he at Caravana? He interviews people like Shansia. He never really goes deeper into uh, yeah, I don't know how to describe it. Like what, like the actual other themes of the community, like education. I've only seen them cover like when the political government is talking about education, but not really focused on Black specific issues. And maybe I just missed that episode, but I mean, social justice, healthcare, economics. I've never really seen him touch on.
yeah, I
Mm,
think there, and Latania
mm,
is saying education highlights.
mm,
I think, and again, I want to be honest here. I think it's two different audiences.
mm.
It's two different audiences. The Buy Blocks audience is different than the Brandon Gomez
But so
audience.
this is what begs the question: is, let's say they're both relatively big.
Yep,
Now, why have they not crossed paths to say,
can't answer
hey,
that.
if you have right? And I'm
I'm
just
not
putting it
there.
out into the universe, and maybe somebody else knows the answer. Where I'm sure they know of each other. So how come there's no cross pollination to say, hey, Golnez, you are handling, I'll say, video content. Buy Blacks has a website that could host video content. And again, Gomez doesn't do articles, full form articles. How come he never speaks to these articles that are happening on Buy Blacks? Let's
Hey,
connect the
hey,
dots.
since you're the media star, I'll let you handle that meeting. Let
Right?
me.
Because I'm,
So,
yeah,
yeah. So, is there a possibility for all those Black media companies mentioned to sit down? There's always a possibility.
that's the question right there.
There's always a possibility.
Yes.
I will say again, uh, there's trauma involved. I think people just, and
Mm.
I just think, and there may be a myriad of reasons. I think all I will say is I'm working on something. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to get too deep right now, but
Yeah, and
I'm working on something.
totally valid. You're not able to go deep with that, but we were together at that Black Caucus, the federal Black Caucus. Oh my gosh,
Yes,
yeah,
presentation a few months ago, and they said
right.
they're gonna.
And they talked specifically about this media project, and that was a few months ago. They have the ability to call that meeting. they, by mentioning it at that initial meeting, they could have said, listen, we are going to be putting that call out to all that deem themselves part of Black media, and then have that discussion, whether it's a town hall or whatever you want to call it. But they didn't. So that's where it's now,
Well,
who
maybe.
could,
Well, let's give the benefit. Maybe they haven't yet.
and I would ask, what are they waiting for? It's like, if you
It's
mention,
summertime, summer
oh
vacation,
dear. Yeah,
holidays.
Brampton, we had that excuse too, where counselors didn't want to sit because they're on vacation. Like, why that to be is not an excuse when there's high priorities. Like,
All right.
summer should not, we're not farmers, so we don't
Oh,
need to take the entire summer off to go
all
do our harvest. So
right.
now,
So let
hey,
me get good
yes,
morning, Ray, Roger and his team, and let's say Roger and Camille and their team, because
and the
Camille
team, yes.
Dundas is integral
Mm,
into that success, and I have so much respect for both of them. Roger and Camille and his team of Bibles have done an amazing job delivering content through a number of challenges. Their analysis of subjects that impact us is done at a very high level. I'll make sure I share that comment with Roger and Camille. They would like to hear that.
yes, yes.
Latanya says, honestly, he is not independent, but he brings color into the space. Interesting comment. They're talking about Brandon. Okay, interesting. And Ray's saying there is also a consistency and a degree of purposeful with their delivery. So you can tell that Ray enjoys buyblacks.com.
Yes, yes.
So and so do I.
Yes.
So yeah, I think with the whole media, okay, here's another media star is Ron Farver, who has delivered written music content for more than, agreed. Much
Which
respect.
newspaper is that?
Ron Fanfare. Oh, he's
Mm-hmm.
been around for years.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Definitely. There's a few other. So individuals like Ron Fanfare, I'm standing on their shoulders. I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. So Ron Fanfare is another one. The key is it just, in one way, what's being done already, getting all the people at the table. But what we have to do is make a decision and take action. And maybe there hasn't been enough. Again, we only hear and see so much. I think that and again, maybe they're working on something. It'll be interesting who they invite at the table. I think an organization that restarted up in the last 2 years is the Canadian Association of Black Journalists. And I was having a conversation yesterday with a wonderful journalist, and I won't give her name, long-standing, but she lives in Ottawa. That's all I'm going to say. And there's a gentleman named Adrian Sherwood, who has been a long-time broadcaster in Ottawa. He is now retired, and now he is teaching media full-time at Carleton University.
Gotcha.
So he is, and I think he's part of CABJ, Canadian Association of Black Journalists. He is very focused and purposeful in making sure that then we have good strength in the next generation of Black journalists. So I'm actually going to reach out to him and see if we can get him on the show, because I have never had a chance to have him on any of the platforms. Frequency saying kudos to Buy Blacks, Roger, not Rogers, because they shut down internets. Okay, Roger and Camille. All right, and Frequency says Ron Fairfair writes and share. That is the Ron
Share.
Fairfair.
Okay.
And I think he also does his own stuff also, because I do follow him on Facebook. So he does a lot of independent stuff. So definitely there's individuals like the Ron Fanfare that need to get kudos, or hopefully can be included in this conversation. But there's no better time to launch a network now, because, and this person was asking my opinion, don't do television first. Do online. It's easier to start up, lower startup costs, and the key thing will be getting individuals to work together and advertising.
True. Well, and that's where like Black Business Live with Gary and, oh my gosh, I want to say Cherise, Maurice, his wife, they do online. So maybe it's tapping into a platform like that already is 24/7. And then now it just needs to be filled with content. And like you said, that advertising piece is huge.
This is where the challenge could come. Because people say, well, I already have my own 24-hour place. Why do I want to? And I would say there's strength in numbers. And the thing is, If you go alone, you're only going to get so far. If you
Mm,
combine with others, you'll get farther. So hopefully, I
mm.
all I say, I've been told before the end of the year, this will be at least go to the next level.
Okay, you heard it here because I will be following up. Because what does that next level even mean? It
Well,
sounds
that's
very vague.
I would say, let's say it will move forward. Don't know how much forward
Mm,
and don't know how many steps,
right.
but there again, and then also the other part is sustainability.
Hmm.
Like to me, a good model, if the government wants to get involved, yes, good to start up, but I would say within 2 or 3 years, you don't need their money anymore. You have enough. You've made enough through operations, advertising, sponsorships to just make it happen.
Yeah, I mean that sounds nice, but CBC gets fully funded and that check is carved out. Why not
True.
have it just
Okay.
staple?
So let's just let me pay
Mm,
advocate here. Okay, I'll go there.
mm.
Someone may say, what percentage of the population is non-melanated in this country?
I don't know, isn't it less than 50% now?
Oh well, let's say black in this country. So
Ah,
some taxpayers will say, hold on a second.
mm,
Why shouldn't my community get a network? Why do they? Because we have more
mm,
than them numbers wise. For example, Chinese.
mm,
Why don't say, okay, well, government, why don't you give? Why we? There's
mm,
hey, there could be as many Chinese as there are Black Canadians. Why can't we get funding for our own network? Just
mm.
putting it out there.
Yeah, I would say that. Hey, make the ask. We're asking for ours. You ask for Indigenous has their own network. There's Omni TV. So there's not to say like the market is big enough to sustain
There's
any
room for
culture that
everybody.
wants their own channel. So
Because
if we're
yeah,
asking for it, we're not worried about the other culture. Like let you ask for your stuff, and I bet you they would get it. So
the Indigenous have their APTN.
right.
So who's going to be next at the table? And
Mm.
again, I don't know enough about if there are other cultural groups asking for funding for their own network. But right now, I'm only focused on
And I
people that
was
look at
always
me.
curious who owns Omni, that television station.
Rogers,
Okay, so it's a Rogers branch off.
yeah,
Okay,
just like
it's
Rogers owns City TV.
right.
Yeah, Rogers Omni has been Rogers' own for
Mm,
forever and ever and ever.
okay.
Like I almost think, okay, let's see what else is going on here. Is there a possibility to get some of the black media greats on the morning vibe? Nice challenge. I can see if I can reach out to
Well,
some of
we've
them.
had Roger Dundas on. I almost called him Rogers.
No, but I
Jeez.
think what frequency is asking is people like a Ron Finfair, people who've
Right,
been
right,
doing
right.
the
Yeah.
media game for a while. Um,
Yes.
and we can't ignore Alan Arthur and Caribbean Vibrations. He has kept the Caribbean on TV for more than a decade on Omni TV. His
Hmm.
show connects us to our Caribbean culture. I I agree with you, Ray, 100%. The only thing is the time that it's on. Like it's not
Mm.
a great podcast time, and,
Right.
that's the thing. Like, uh,
Mm.
if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. It's sometimes on like Saturday and Sunday afternoon in the summertime. The summer being gonna watch it.
But that's where, yes, on Omni you get that time slot, but on our own channel you'd be
There
able
you
to have
go.
and then resource him to create more content.
There
And
you go.
there's a maybe a daily spot that it's on, or
Well,
even if oh
I
yeah,
well, and I think, and this is one of the reasons my thought process is there is enough content out there probably to do a 24-hour network.
yes, I agree.
Just as making sure, and I'm
Mm,
talking countrywide content from different
mm.
broadcasters, and you can make it all digital. If you did it television wise, do you know how much cost that is?
So this begs the question. So now I'm thinking there's two online 24/7 because GBKM with Kenny, he has a station. There's BBL with Gary, and then there's two on TV where FIVA TV, Afro Global. There's Caribbean one, but that's not really. It's black focused, but not black owned. So that's four platforms that have 24-hour platforms. Did I say that twice? There's two online and two on traditional TV. Now, I'm sure the next question that'll come into the comments is, how can we get those four to be working together? Because that could be a destination for our eyeballs. Like if they have the right content on there, we could actually take advantage of what already exists.
So the question would be to those content providers: Are they would they be open and willing to collaborate?
Yeah,
That would be the real question, because them asking on their own for government money probably ain't gonna happen.
exactly.
But if they combined that ask, and if they did that presentation and they could combine all their audiences,
Right.
it's a much stronger presentation. Collaboration and data are the two of the most key things in media these days: collaboration and data. So if they could combine all their, especially their audience, in a presentation, that would have more legs. Again, the challenge would be, are they willing and open to do that? Because then obviously money comes into the play. So are they willing to do that? Because they already got their own thing running, and they may say, hey, I've got my own thing running, I don't want to get involved with anything else. That's their call.
Yeah.
So Julianne, hello, Julianne. But also kudos to Alan Arthur, Caribbean Vibration. Julianne, exactly. There's room, so we should not hold back on asking. Justin Sr., love the subject. Thank you, Justin.
And I was just thinking about that gentleman because he's who connected me with FIFA. And so there must be a way that we can call that meeting. And if it's tied into how to resource all four, and maybe there's some I'm missing, because Shirley, does she have a 24-hour platform as well? Or it's just podcasts? Okay. But she produces a lot of content and is plugged into content creators. We have to start again. I need to go grab my shirt upstairs. Thank you, Eldon Holder Jr., for my Connecting the Dots shirt. I always think of you. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So Ray's asking, do we need to approach this from a traditional TV way or done as a streaming network? The way much I think these days streaming.
But this is where I'm saying we have both. So we actually don't have to decide.
I'm sort of leery of that, because if you have both, that heightens the financial end. I would rather have a streaming platform, because the cost is lower, the startup cost is lower, and the time to get started. Well, again, I'm not an expert, but I think from where I'm sitting, it's easier to probably get something started up online compared to traditional television.
Yo, we have to talk to Tim Frey.
And he has to come here. Yeah, the questions to run as terrestrial versus digital. And that's it. Tim Frey, we got to get you on here. What are you doing on Friday, Tim?
Right.
Tim Frey, like we haven't had Tim Frey on. So, Tim, what are you doing on Friday at 9 a.m.? Get yourself down here on this platform. But no, and Tim knows a lot about this stuff. And I agree. It's family, I love this. We can come on without a guest and you drive the ship. I love it. So Don says there is a precedent already. Playing advocate keeps it in one spot. There are enough people who have the experience worldwide can do it together. Don't disagree. Just that can we leave our egos outside? The talent is there. Right? So, oh wow, what's up, Toronto lead generation? Thank you. Some new people on here today. Excellent. Hey, make sure you subscribe wherever you're watching. This consumer market for digital content outweighs the traditional I pretty much agree with that. The consumer market, and especially advertising wise, especially since the pandemic started, more and more companies are looking to digital advertising. And I keep a watch on this. Advertising and sponsorship is something I'm very focused about. And the numbers are just rising on how much companies are going to put. Because at the end of the day, when you broadcast, if you're going to make a profit, it's all about sponsorship and advertising.
Right.
Sponsorship and advertising. Like Ryan and I, we always have the conversation. I know way back when I was on by myself and I asked people, like, what would you like to see improved or changed with this? And people were saying, oh, we'd like you on another day a week. We got to get another sponsor to do that.
Right.
So, because this does take some time. Really? You may not. We just, we just wash our face in the morning and come on. No, we prep a little bit, So let's see. The consumer market. Okay, I already got that comment. Okay, Tim Frey's on for 9 a.m., folks.
Solid, because we need to
9
talk about Black Pulse 24.
Tim, that's good. So I'll reach out to you, Tim. Get that deck in order. The deck's already in order. So we're way ahead of you, Justin. Deck's already in order. We're just reaching out to the people to do it, but the deck is already in order. That's been and that has been ordered for a long period of time. So we've got that ready. So I'm glad we're meeting your expectations, but the deck is in order. And actually, another thing, I was watching, was checking out some people on LinkedIn. There's a lady I respect who is in the advertising game, and she was saying that people's decks. She looked at 20 decks, and there were more fluff than content.
Oh, okay.
There were more.
Did she mention like what she considers concrete content, like what she actually wants to see in there?
She was talking with people and who were in this game, saying people just really forget how looking pretty, all like that, but we want to see the hard numbers, the real important, the content. Frequency says, Dr. Vibe, what you and Ryan are doing is legendary. Perhaps the answer is right here under your noses. Maybe there's an initiative or event you can call, plan, develop, and deliver. We're working on it.
All right. Yes.
We are doing it. Like when we're not showing our faces, especially me, because Ryan has to rule the world, right? So when we're not showing our faces,
I'll start with Brampton. No, sorry, right? It's shipped to Ajax now.
A shame. Is Patrick Brown asked for you back yet?
He doesn't even know I'm gone. Who about asking me back? You just found out now.
Yeah. So there you go. So Justin's saying Ryan's got an open action then. Oh, well, give Ryan more work to do. That's all right. I like that. Let me sit back and reap the rewards.
Yes.
Greetings and salutations. All right. But yeah, that's a whole, and I think that's a whole part, another part of the game and it's interesting. I will say that I do speak to various media entities and various businesses, and I get, and this is melanated and non-melanated. And when it comes to, so do you have sponsorship? No. Why not? Don't know how, or this and that. Here's a perfect example. I did a conversation for the Dad Central show, which is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, which I led that sponsorship initiative. We did an interview with a gentleman, non-melanated, based in, I think it's South Carolina now. He has a podcast over the last 5-6 years, 4 million downloads.
Okay. Holy moly.
No sponsorship.
Wow. And he's not even like trying?
Well, he said he's tried and this and that. And after I had my conversation with him and my co-host had to leave, and he said, I got a question for you. I go, what's this? How did you get this sponsor with Dove Men Plus Care? And I ran him through, and he go, yeah, like 5 minutes ago, goes, I may need to hire you because
yeah.
in regards to that, but that's a whole other thought press. But definitely with this Black network, sponsorship is paramount.
Right.
Even if it is initially the money comes from the government, you still want to get sponsorship.
Well, absolutely. You have that as your base, but then you build on it with sponsorship and ad revenue.
By the way, Justin Senior, reach out to me. I'd love to have a chat. I've heard your name before. What does Justin do?
He runs SAMA, and I'm gonna butcher what SAMA stands for, but he helps with media buying for people looking to advertise.
I think we have spoken before, Justin. Justin, did you have anything to do with FIFA? Because your name is from like Justin Senior. It's one of those things that go pop.
Yes,
sticks in my mind.
Yes.
But love to. Not anymore. So he was okay. So we did have a conversation. Okay, so he did update me. He said not anymore. So we did have a conversation before. Okay, no problem. And Tim says decks should be less we want to verbiage, and we are currently doing. This is one of the reasons most decks are fluff. There you go. That's why you need to
Gotcha.
tune in on Friday. Tim, like when Tim told me how many companies he's involved in, I said, what?
Right. Yes.
What? I can't even count that high. Right. So,
Jeez.
yeah,
Yes, yes.
but yeah, and okay, so just a little tip for people who are out there looking for sponsorship and all that. This is only from my experience. Don't think about sponsorship first. Think about getting a meeting first.
Ah, yes, yes.
Okay, so Justin says, I used to lead at Summit. Now I'm the head of inclusive media. Okay, so Justin, I believe you have my email address. I would like to have,
Gotcha.
and he says, and yes, we've spoken before. Excellent. So he's now, I like that, inclusive media at IPG Media Brands. Justin, I'm gonna email you. We would love you to come on and see if you can give some perspective, because there's
Yes.
more than enough businesses out there that need to get education in this area of the world, because
Big time.
from my end, there's money out there, right? Like fourth quarter is coming up, people. More consumer money is spent during the fourth quarter than any other quarter, business wise, consumer wise.
Right.
Right. So that would be great to have you on. Christopher saying, doesn't content help one get sponsorship, especially if it's packaged right with what are we currently doing? See, we now already got a conversation. So Tim Frey, sharpen up yourself for Friday. Gonna be fire. If it what we are currently doing, I think. See, we got a whole other conversation going on. This is great. Okay, here we go. WhatsApp definitely will subscribe. Our community need more educational content on finance, health, and food. Well, ironically, specifically streaming content focused on these topics. Well, you have come on the right day, because if you subscribe, we have Wayne Harris at first Friday of every month talking about finance. Health, that's interesting. We may need to talk. We don't have anyone on health, but we
It's
also
in
have
process because we're talking with the person.
well, that's mental health. That's just
Okay,
mental
yeah,
health.
health
Yeah.
is true. You might
Yeah,
have to
but
talk to
then
Nairobi or somebody.
but there's and then also and food, we have Janice
Yes.
Bartley and Marie, her assistant, starting. Well, they're coming on next Monday, but they're going to be coming on once a month.
Right.
So we already have regular monthly guests in 2 of the 3 areas that you've asked about. So that's why we need more sponsorship, so we can have another day. So we can, because
Fill it
we
in.
can't we don't want to jam up our regular guests too much, because that means it doesn't leave a lot of room for guests once in a while to come on. So I like that. But thank you for your support. Appreciate it. Justin, happy to connect. You're going to see something from me today. Absolutely.
Nice.
So and a sidebar conversation. Another tip, and I've been using it for years. I'm going to tell people again, video introductions.
Yes, I'm a big fan of that now. I've started to send out a few, and you saw one that I sent, and it got a response from somebody that was not responding. So,
and people may say, what do you mean by that? Well, how many people get enough emails?
Right.
So I've been doing, and especially during the pandemic, this was great, is instead of sending someone for example, probably with Justin, I'll probably send him a link to a video message, which is like 30 to 45 seconds long. The nice thing is, when you depending on what service you use, when you send a video introduction, you get notified when the person opens it. You don't know when a person opens up an email. And if you do send an email that has a read receipt, people don't like that.
Yeah.
They say, no, you're stalking me or something. No.
Right.
Video introduction.
I hate text message receipt. Like, oh, when you open this, the sender will know. I'm like, I'll open it later then.
Yeah. So and the video, and it's personal. And when you get, like, for myself, I can bang out 10 video messages within about 45 minutes. You know how long it would take me to do 10 emails? I got to think. And again, everyone is different. I'm used to being in front of a camera, and I do it a lot. But I'll tell you, I've had I'm getting to the point now. I'm just using it for regular communication now because it's just
Gotcha.
quicker for me.
Yes.
Like I've had everyone from an 81-year-old gentleman who runs his own company that coaches and manages CEOs.
Mhm.
I sent him that. He says, first line, this is fantastic. I need to teach my CEOs how to use this.
Right.
But and the thing is, I had an ask, and now I'm getting
Mhm.
starting next month. I'm getting half an hour with him every month,
Love it.
and we're also working out where I'm going to spend a 1 day with him, a day in his life.
Oh, yeah, like observing and
Yeah, just sitting down
yeah.
there. Yeah, and so thank you, Christopher. And you know what? It's not work. It's hard work. It's not work for me. I'm
Yes.
doing this, and Chris is saying video marketing brings a fresh spark of air because people aren't used to getting it.
Yes.
They're not used to getting it. Now, sometimes I think it's just because of you're unique and you stand out from everybody. You stand out by sending the video message, and again, you know when it's opened. You know, have you ever
True.
sent an email to someone and you don't know if they've ever received it? You don't know if they've ever looked at it,
Right.
right? And as Ryan was saying, he sent a video message to someone. Email wise, they weren't responding to him, but when he sent the video message,
Right. Yes.
ping,
Love that.
ping. So I just dropped that that little thing I do. Hey, if you like it, great. If not, like I sent 2 video messages to one, a client and an associate, and within 24 hours both of them signed up for the service, and I didn't make any money from it. They said this is great. One of them is actually
Oh, right.
one of the persons is a very experienced social media person who lives in Scotland, and he said this is fantastic, and he signed up for it. Bang, right there.
Yeah,
Says
and
I
I've
love this.
seen, I'm not sure because the one I've seen you use is Loom.
Loom.
There's another one,
There's another one
SenseSpark
called Dub.
and
Dub is another
Dub.
one.
Okay.
It's more expensive and it offers a lot more features. I think for most people, Loom should be more than enough.
Right.
And you get a year's worth. Your subscription is about $90 Canadian a year, but it allows you unlimited videos. You can do screen. You can record the screen. You can
Right.
record screen and
Yes.
camera. You can do a number of things with it. And it's my go-to because, as I said, probably like a day like today with it raining and outside and going outside anyways, but I'll just say,
Yes.
okay, make a list of people, like 6 or 7 people I need to send a video message to, half an hour, done.
Love that.
You know, half an hour, done. So we got off track. We'll get back to but that's part of the media thing, right?
Well, one final question on the media thing is based on the current organizations that exist. I'm talking about Black North, Black Opportunity Fund, FBC, which is the Foundation for Black Communities, NAPC with Emmanuel, NABC. Who could call this meet? Like, who could actually put some weight behind getting these? There's 4 TV stations.
Look at this.
People
See, Julianne, you're asking the right people how to do this video intro. Ryan knows everything.
Yes. I learn and I implement. So happy. And a good feature with LinkedIn is now they had the voice notes and now they do video notes as well. So, and it's really quick. You just hit the button, your camera activates, you say your message, and then it inserts it. So
there you go.
And I'm a big fan of LinkedIn. If you're not utilizing LinkedIn, you are sleeping. So
yeah, and that's a nice thing too with Loom also, because when you finish producing your video, it creates a link. So what I do is I copy and paste the link into the message. And what the nice thing is I say, hope you're doing okay. Please click on the following link to see a video message I've sent for you. So it's directly for you. And when I put the link in, it shows a caption from the video so they see my face.
Yes.
So definitely video is where it's at. People are doing it enough on their phones anyways. So, but they're not doing it as much for business purposes. Right. People think about the video aspect of, yes, for social, but also for business. And I'll tell you, 95% of the people I send a video introduction to their first line in response is, "This is fantastic. I love it. It's so personal. Please
Yeah.
tell me please tell me how you use it." So being different a lot of times is good.
100%.
Did I answer your question about? No, I don't think I answered your question about the entities getting all together. Who could do that?
Who out of those could call that meeting?
I think actually it would be better either called by the government or by someone in the media industry rather than these independent organizations.
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
think I think it could have, this is my thought. I think it would have more weight if they get this invitation from someone who is involved in the media
Mhm.
rather than an organization that isn't involved in media. And nothing against the organizations that are not involved in media, but I just think it would have more weight. Like if you have someone who's credible, who's doing it, and like at their signature to the end and say they have their link and they could go, "Oh, this person's doing media. Okay." So I
True,
think
true.
that may be the way to go, I believe.
Okay.
And again, and Tim Frey, why the government? Hey, it doesn't have to be the government. If there's money
But
out there,
this
if
is why
money
I would say the government, because for some reason, Black people love to show up when the government calls them. So it'll get people to the table. I guarantee you, Ahmad Hussein calls a meeting of media folk,
they're all
people
there.
will show up. They tend to show up for the photo ops.
Yeah, you know
So if you
why?
want to get them in the room,
You know why? They're showing up.
I mean, what's that symbolism?
Money.
Well, even
Symbolism. Well, the symbolism, yes, I
yeah.
agree. I agree.
So
You know, I agree with you. I think, and Tim, maybe we can back channel this. I prefer going the private route.
Yep.
Like, and I'll be open here. My arrangement with Dove Men Plus Care, they gave our organization the money, and all we have to do is performance matrix. It's not a loan, it's not a grant. And I've been the front of that relationship now for 3 years.
Right.
So I've had a 3-year sponsorship arrangement with one of the biggest brands in the world when it comes to men's personal health care. So I know a little bit about this. And I'm also mentored by a gentleman who him and his wife have done $5 million worth of sponsorship in the last 5 years. So I agree, Tim. Again, let's have a back channel about this. I think if we can go the private route, like this is a Tim Marlin conversation, but the private route is so much better than the government. Again, but if the money's out there with the government and you can get it the right arrangement and it isn't a loan, and you can arrange the right matrix or right measurements, yeah, I'll take their money, but I don't want to take it forever. I just wanted to really and truly, my thought process in a policy like this is to start up. I'm looking to break the chain, so to speak, within a year or two and say, run on our own, bang, bang, bang.
See,
And
but this is something I think we forget about what the government's job is. The government's job is treasury. They handle our money and disperse it where they deem fit. So I would say we should be taking their money till death do us part. So I'm not about that cutting the chains. Like, get the money that is owed to us.
Well, Tim is saying, I'm not saying no government. I'm just asking why the government.
Yeah.
So I think,
they can
and I think we have to talk about this with Tim on Friday. It's a great, just that conversation topic with Tim on Friday. You know, what is his thought process about getting money from the government? You know,
Yes.
have that thought process. And and again, many years ago, I said, no money to the government. Then another person told me, hold on, it's your tax money.
It really is. And people have figured out how to get access to our tax money much better than us. So we have to shift that.
Yeah. So we need to not only, we need to be at the table, we also need to have our own table. And see, the sponsorship with performance metrics is an excellent manageable strategy, Dr. Vibe. I agree. But he says, Marlon says, hate to be a Debbie Downer. There are many mainstream media companies that are failing for a number of reasons. The economics is difficult versus automated generated content that is free. So you see, and I agree with Marlon. 24 hours of programming is expensive. I am more the person, a few hours each day. Build. Once you get good at that, then start expanding. And it's the same thought process I have with the morning vibe. Yes, we're good foundational Monday, Friday. We know what we need to have to get to that next level. But I believe, I know we have our Monday and Friday morning down pat. The Wednesdays in the distance, again, it has to be financially and resource viable. So 24-hour programming is expensive, whether it's online or whether it's live, it is expensive. So I believe you have to have a model that is financially and resource viable.
Makes sense.
Right. So if it's a few hours each day, even at, maybe you have, I'm not going to give away ideas, so I'm just going to leave it at that. I was going to break things down and go, oh, shit my mouth. But yeah, I think that there's definitely opportunity, and now's the time to take, and especially too, we got to realize, folks, the George Floyd money is going to run out soon.
Yeah, that's
another
spark is diminishing. Yes.
And the George Floyd mindset is starting to run out soon. And again, you see some people say the lack of action by a number of organizations, it's already faded away. Okay. There you go. Leveraging strategic relations is an excellent way to go. Yeah, I agree, Marlon. It's all about collaboration and data. When you really get down to it, it's all about collaboration and data, because I don't think there is a Black media organization right now. I don't know if there's a Black media organization right now that could do it on their own. I don't know. Maybe, but it just makes more sense to do the collaboration, just makes things move faster. And at the end of the day, we got to think about the audience. We can't just think about us. How can we serve the audience better?
Sure.
How can we keep them informed? How do we do it at a reasonable cost? Even people that, and actually another here's a great person we need to get on, Denim Jolly.
Very true. Yeah, I would love to,
because getting his valued input. And I'm blessed because my dad and Denim Jolly have known each other for 70 years because they went to high school together in Jamaica at Cornwall College. So I can call Mr. Jolly anytime I want, and I can get his valued opinion. So I'm going to.
And so hold on. So what are you waiting for? Like the information, this man is one of the first to build an actual media platform.
Yeah, I'm actually, I just look, my alleged mind cannot move at the speed of night. It doesn't move at night speed, right? It moves at vibe speed, not night speed.
Take that guidance, man. The elder is within reach.
So I've got to call him about two things. There was something I need to call him, but I'm also going to make a second thing. I'm going to see if I can sit down and get a few minutes of his time.
Couldn't he call that meeting? People would listen if he said, let's get these people together. I'm sure they would show up. Even more than the government calling them.
That's a good idea. I think, and actually it's a good idea. I think at that, if and when that meeting happens, whether it's in person or digitally, I think Mr. Jolly should be there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Actually, almost if I'm going to just leave it that. All right. I'm going to family. We done. Because we're planning for someone else's. So does Mr. Jolly still sponsor initiatives? No comment. Yes. Yeah. Well, I will say he probably does, and I think that especially with the collaboration and relationship my dad has with him, I could maybe leverage that relationship. Let's just put it better. So
Gotcha.
thank you for the homework, everybody. Today I will be calling Mr. Jolly.
Excellent.
We also got Tim Frey coming up on Friday. Tim, make sure you email me your bio and picture as soon as possible so we can create the link for everyone on Friday. Also, again, next Monday, Janice Bartley will be coming on with Marie, and we're going to be starting off our first monthly conversation about food, not only from an eating wise, but also a business wise, because we have more than enough of us who are in the food game. If you've seen Janice before, you know what she's all about. If you haven't seen her before, you're going to know what she's
Buckle
all
up.
about.
Yeah.
You better buckle up.
Yes.
So that's Christopher saying big up Tim Frey. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's looking forward to that conversation. What's on? And then a week from this Friday, we're back at the beginning of the month. Wayne Harris is back.
Excellent.
It doesn't seem that long ago that he was on. but yeah. So what's up for the week, Ryan?
Pretty low key. I feel like we're gearing up for school starting back.
Yes.
But the study group has been going strong. So those interested, each Tuesday evening, we do a Black Ecosystem study group. So we've been listening to lectures from Dr. John Henrik Clark. Some lectures that are coming up are Dr. Amos Wilson. We're digging into the Black Empowerment Manifesto written by Errol Gibbs. So really just learning upon learning, and being on this show with you, getting to bring on guests like we had on Friday, where you realize how little you know, and you just want to keep filling your cup. So yeah, I'm loving the conversations that we're having. But yeah, other than that, the week's gonna be a bit quiet. How about yourself?
I think the last few weeks have been very, but
Right.
no, I'm actually looking for new team members for audio video editing. So that's one thing I'm looking out for. Got some more conversations coming up for the Dad Central show. I'm going to push it out there again. Wherever you're watching this, please subscribe to that platform. So you get notified about the epic conversations that we have. And wherever you're subscribing, also catch the replays. Again, Friday is just one of many epic conversations we've had.
Yes.
Right? Friday was, and we are going to probably in the very near future start putting up highlights of our conversations on different platforms. So you get a little bit of taste of some of the great stuff that we've been doing now for, it's like a year and a half now.
Yeah. Next March will be 2 years?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Man, time flies when you're having fun.
Love it.
All right.
Yes.
You can watch replays of this epic conversation of the Morning Vibe on YouTube and Facebook, the Afro-Caribbean Business Network on Facebook and YouTube, Ryan Oneil Knight on YouTube. Everybody else, have an outstanding week. Make sure you give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. You're watching the Morning Vibe. And yes, Tim Frey on Friday, people. Make sure you check it out. It's going to be epic. All our conversations are epic. So
yes,
we'll just leave it at that. Be well, keep the faith, walk good.